what is diabetes? Diabetes is a condition where your body has no longer been able to regulate the sugar in here. And it comes from consuming, obviously, too much sugar. That's the most common cause. But here's the thing. Diabetes type 2 is a less serious diabetes. Type 1 is a more serious type of diabetes. So type 2 is really a problem with the liver because what happens is they take a drug called Glucophage, or another name for it, Metformin, and what all that does is it makes the cells in the liver more receptive or receiving more insulin. So they work on the receptors in the liver, okay, receptors. So they increase the conductivity of insulin. So each receptor in the liver for insulin becomes magnified. And there's 200,000 receptors for insulin for every liver cell that you have. So if you can imagine, really what diabetes type 2 is, it's insulin resistant, resistive, whatever you want to call it. So I guess the best analogy, let's say you had a bunch of telemarketing people call your house over and over and over every day for a year. You're not going to pick up anymore, okay? You're not going to keep picking up every time they call. You're going to be a bit resistive to that communication. So that's what diabetes type 2 is, being very resistive to insulin, and then they take this drug called Glucophage, which basically makes it more, it picks up the phone a lot more. So then now we can receive that insulin communication and thus lowering the blood sugar, okay? So diabetes medication lowers the blood sugar. So usually because these diabetes, it's a high sugar state. And the problem is that if you ever have a low blood sugar and you take these medications, it's going to make it worse because you're going to go even lower. So you don't want to take medication if it's too low or normal, only when it's too high. And the problem, when the blood sugar goes low, many times people are taking sugar pills, which basically make the problem worse because now you're going to spike the insulin too high. We're trying to avoid that situation. Now, type 1 diabetes is not a liver problem. It's a long-term chronic problem of the pancreas. And now the cells of the pancreas that make insulin are exhausted, and they pretty much just stop working. So therefore no insulin is being produced, therefore the sugar goes higher and higher and higher and higher. And so then now they need insulin injections to lower the sugar, and they have to keep taking through the day. They have time release and all sorts of things. So that is the difference between these two. Type 2 is the liver, type 1 is the pancreas problem. This is worse because now you don't make any insulin. Type 2, you do make insulin, but it doesn't work in the liver. So that's the relationship between the two.